and Digital Agri Expo 2023. But because that is mouthful, today we're going to be calling it the Reday Expo, Reday basically 2023, and I have quite a huge panel and the right minds to discuss this particular conversation right here with us. I'll start with Dr. Henry Rotich, who's the organizing committee chair at Reday. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
And also do have Fabrice Wayne Ngambonzinza, Director, CEO, Change Biotech Limited. Hopefully I've not altered with that pronunciation.
I'll correct it, there's no worries.
It's that correct?
No, it's Wane, not Wayne.
Oh, Wane.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an African name.
All right. And Miriam Muthoni, Marketing Director, Magfrey Enterprises Limited.
That's correct.
Karibu sana. You have Benedette Wangare, Business Operations Manager at Modern Tents and Chairs.
Yeah, thank you.
And finally, Beatrice Wambui Irungu, Sales Manager at Nero K Limited. I'll start with you, Dr. Ari. This is the first ever, the inaugural Expo. It's happening tomorrow, the 23rd and 24th of November at Mount Kenya University grounds. First of all, how are the preparations looking like? Before we actually even begin to get to the whole idea of this Expo.
Thank you very much, Stanley. I think today is the day that we are setting up the event. So we have the different partners coming in to set up the exhibition booths, the posters from the researchers and the innovators. From tomorrow, we will have the opening ceremony for the event. And we are lucky that all our chief guests have confirmed. And basically from tomorrow, we will have the open day from in the morning hours, then opening session from 10. And then later on in the afternoon, another open session. And then on Friday, we are going to do the award ceremony for the best innovators, best poster presentation, and the best exhibition booth.
Are we allowed to know who the chief guest will be?
Yes, our chief guest is Director General, CEO, Kenya Industrial and Research Development Institute, KERDE, Dr. Engineer Calvins Onyango.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. And now before we even get to understand the whole path of this particular expo, I want to now engage others here. Benedette, as you know, from the whole tents, modern tents and chairs, why is modern tents and chairs basically in this expo? I believe that should be even the right question as we start.
Okay, thank you so much. Modern Tents and Chairs, first of all, we're very, very passionate about sponsoring and institutions and individuals who are inventors. So we actually partner up with a certain NGO called September 10, and in that we do a lot of hydroponics, mushroom farming, we do a lot of fish farming, and we try and accommodate and use as a lot of technology. For example, in our mushroom house, we have technology that sensors and room temperatures and all that. It tells us exactly how the temperature is. So we look for innovators who can come and do a lot of things in our farms. We have, like the hydroponics is farming with water only. You don't use soil, we just use water and nutrients. So we try and support institutions and individuals who are inventors, they're creative, and we also try, and food security is also another thing that we like to invest in. So our main aim is we like sponsoring and investing events that actually support food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you ready for tomorrow?
We're very ready, very, very ready, because we're also the people who provided the tents and the chairs on location.
So right now, what is happening right now?
It is us.
Because of you guys.
Yes,
Good
yes,
stuff.
yes.
Right, Irungu from Nehru. I believe Nehru really focuses on matters of manufacturing, industrial chemicals, detergents, and all that. Yeah. So what will be your really main aim in this particular expo? And you can also tell us more about Nehru.
Nehru is basically about hygiene and cleaning, all about proper hygiene in the hotel industries, in the manufacturing industries, in the institutions such as Mount Kenya University. So basically we have supported this program to introduce our services to the consumers. Basically, proper hygiene, even introducing the manufacturing issues towards the basic consumers. Like we manufacture industrial soaps and detergents, such that we create employment, so no consumer will have to wallow around and say there is no job. Actually, we create job opportunities. So we are here as NERU to show the consumer that you can do something with yourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you also ready for
We are very much ready. We have a tent already pitched there. Our team is already there. We have a display of products. We welcome all to come and see what we produce. We also have shops in town. We have one at Nyamakima, and we have another one at Kirinyaga Road.
Right.
Yeah.
And you talk about creating opportunities, and even for someone who really creates these opportunities, the director and also CEO. Okay, first of all, even for you, this particular expo, it's going to be a big deal because 5 years later, when you take a look at how this expo ever began, we are starting with, you guys. You started this particular expo, basically. So how much of a big deal is it for you, Wane? And you can also tell us more about your company.
You want to aim at 5 years ago? I would rather aim at 11 years ago.
11 years?
2012 when I started this.
Okay.
So yes, I was with a different institution. Today I'm with Change Biotech, Director and CEO of Change Biotech, which is a company based here in Kenya, Nairobi. And our aim is to be able to support research, okay, by providing researchers, okay, and future researchers who are the students at the universities today with the proper tools for doing research. So our focus area is life sciences, okay, agriculture is life sciences, health is life sciences, and everything that involves human beings and animals, okay.
Right.
So we are a company that provides the researchers with the tools, of course. We are not just the business partners, but we're also the technology partners. Okay? So when we represent companies from abroad here in Kenya, we are their channel partner, and by being a channel partner, you don't just provide the tools, but you also provide the knowledge, you provide the technology, you give insight to new technologies and all that. So that's what we are here to do. That's what Change Biotech is here to be able to support as much as we can. And supporting institutions like universities where you have your future researchers and your academicians that have dedicated their lives to research, that's really the best place to go.
How much of a big deal is it for Change Biotech?
It's
being the inaugural expo.
Being the inaugural, it's an amazing opportunity that's been given to us by MKU. We take it as an opportunity to leave a mark to those young students that are going to start their career in research, and also to provide those that are maybe finishing their curriculum with the university to understand that, at the end of the day, there is life after university. There's opportunities that can be created by commercial partners, but also by research organizations.
Right. Yeah. And that particular drone, even behind as our background, reminds me that when you talk about digital agriculture, you really have to have the whole audio, the communications. As a farmer, I have to really take a look at all that. And this is where McFrey Enterprises really comes in. Tell us what really, on a broader bit, what McFrey really does, and are you guys really prepared and ready for this particular expo?
Thank you very much for this opportunity you've given us, and through Dr. Yatich. And McFrey Enterprises is a firm that's been there for almost the age of my life. It's a family business, and we've been printing and doing engineering. We have two departments.
Okay.
The printing is what is core for today's conversation. Engineering, we do the audio-visual, and we've partnered with a company in Japan called TOA, and so we are able to install, support, and support institutions that want sound in their buildings. So that is part of the engineering and also the visual. So for the printing, why it is important for us to be in this expo and be part of the conversation on sustainable goals is because we work with paper, and traditionally paper was made from trees. Today we have adopted the technology that has introduced in the market the wood-free paper, which is made from sisal, cotton, wheat stalks, and when we print the brochures, the books that you see, some people will go and throw it in the dustbin, and it will become waste. But out there, we have also engaged people who are taking that waste paper and reusing, recycling it for us to be able to make the straw boards. The straw boards is what makes things like the files, the covers of books, and stuff like that. So we are excited to be part of this conversation so that we are able to initiate Kenyans to be able to look at sustainable ways and recyclable ways of using paper, and knowing that that paper is what we read the newspaper with. When it is recycled, it becomes of less value, but it also becomes a long-term value. Mm-hmm. So when you see that piece of paper, don't just rubbish and just throw it in the dustbin. Just know that that is a paper that is of importance in the future, because even 10 years from then, that piece of paper might be a book in another life, because the paper that we use, the wood-free paper, is recyclable. So it's maintained within the country. Then the people who are able to collect it takes it back to India, China, and they make the wood-free paper.
All right.
Yes.
And Daktari, now let's the whole path of this particular expo. Why are we here? Well, the whole idea behind this expo?
Thank you, Stanley. The whole idea behind the expo being an inaugural one is that last year we did an innovation expo, but we realized that we've been locking out the researchers, considering that the universities, all marks of that support teaching, research, and community service. So we realized that we are locking out the researchers, and we wanted to give them an opportunity. And currently, I think also if you look at the NACOST agenda for research in Kenya currently, is that they are focusing on STI, science, technology, and innovation. So we are trying to kill two birds with one stone by combining these two events. And then along the way, we also got a partner called FarmView. So they came in and they asked us, can we also bring on board the agricultural aspect? Because we know that if you look at the GDP of this country, we're still doing badly in terms of agriculture, in as much as the current government is trying to put in some efforts to boost that. So we try to match the two, because again, if we are not food secure, then we will still be forced to import. And that's, to me, to us, is basically a challenge. So the essence of holding the event is that, again, if you look at Africa and most higher education institutions in Africa, we tend to work alone and the industries work alone. So there's been this push and desire that we need to bring the industries on board. And one of them is also organizing such an event jointly. And this is living up to the idea by from the SDG number 17 on partnership towards the goals, that you have these 16 goals, but how do you achieve them? So you have quality education, you have food and security, you have health, you have all the other different agendas. But again, we have the last agenda 17, that for us to really achieve this, then we need to partner together. And that's how we are here with some of our partners here, so that we can be able to have a conversation, not just today, but also beyond the exhibition day on Friday.
Right. Yeah. And even as he points out, what I'm getting from him is this particular expo really brings out and helps the society understand that, well, this is the innovation that the schools are doing, the students that are doing. So this is what it really means to you. From the whole modern tense and chairs, have you previously partnered even with the society and even with other institutions? And what was the impact like, even for this society and the residents there, to actually understand, oh, okay, so this is how some of these innovations are done? Tell us your experience.
Like I said, we've partnered up with an NGO called September 10 Rescue Center. The main aim of this NGO is to provide, there's a lot of stigma in HIV and AIDS, and we use the people who are affected and infected. We teach them on different ways on how you can feed yourself, there's food security, and in that we impact the community because we teach them you don't need a whole farm to farm mushrooms. You just need a small structure. You put in your substrate, your mycelium. So we do teach different people how to use the different technologies that are there to feed themselves and to create jobs also. We also do the hydroponics. You tell somebody if your soil is not good enough to plant, just take some water, take some nutrients, and there you will have your food, your plants. So our impact in the community is food security. Yes, we partner up with people and innovators who will actually create food for people. They farm and they give people food. Yes.
Right. And on that note, even Irungu, as you pick up on that, even as you're coming into this expo, I mean, talking about, but as the digital agriculture. So this means, even as, as one was saying, when you talk about 11 years ago, things were a little different. From where you sit, how has agriculture really changed how we do things?
Basically, as NERU, I would say NERU has come into this digital agricultural expo as towards the health sector, because our main aim is to curb the infectious diseases through fumigation and such like. We have the best solutions for curbing infectious diseases and proper maintenance of our health facilities, our household management, and also our institutions. So I think agriculture has really changed even the hygiene sector by creating, improving products such as the fumigation products, maybe in buildings or malls, or even institutions and hospital facilities. We have good fumigation products for curbing such. So basically, we are here, we are your partner in hygiene. Yeah.
And just a follow, because even as you talk about, I'm reminded of pyrethrum.
Yeah.
And I believe NERU might really be big when it comes to matters pyrethrum and the whole, pesticides and everything.
Yeah.
The whole agriculture of pyrethrum, the farming of pyrethrum in the country. Are we lagging behind? Because there are times that even some of these pyrethrum farms are really, they are lagging behind. Some of them really, and some farmers really had to, and even the workers had to, be fired because state-owned, pyrethrum, farms were lagging behind. Does this really alter what, let's say, you do and the whole progress of digital agriculture in a whole?
Yes, of course it does. Back in those days, pyrethrum was a cash crop in some of the areas like the Rift Valley and Nyandarua. But now, the pyrethrum sector has really demolished, or kind of it has subsided. So has really affected the insecticide production or those products that curb infectious diseases. But I hope with time we shall be able to introduce or come up or research more products other than maybe the pyrethrum. We might even come up with something that may solve this problem. Right. We don't have to rely on pyrethrum alone. If pyrethrum is flopping, then we have to renovate other new ideas. Yeah.
I love how you say we really should be having more solutions, because I believe this is why you're having this expo, to actually come up with other solutions and all that. And speak of matters, solutions and everything, both of you really have entered in the whole technology space. I'll start with you, Anne. So according to data by Data Reportal, 23.35 million internet basically million people used internet in 2022. That's last year.
Yeah.
That's versus our population of about 55.60 million. So if you take a look at those numbers, that means 32.25 million people did not use internet. That's half, 58% of the population. Where am I going with this? This population, the 58%, could be farmers. Why are we not really, do you agree that they're missing an opportunity when it comes to digital agriculture? I mean, how they will change even the farms, some of these small scale and even maybe large scale farmers, yet they're not really using internet. One reason or another, maybe they don't have internet connectivity where they are, maybe they don't have the knowledge at that place.
Correct. I mean, talking internet access to the different strata of the population in Kenya is something that we might find ourselves talking about for the longest time possible. But what this kind of expo provides us with is an opportunity to meet everyone, to meet the students, to meet the researchers, from a first-year student to a recent to be graduated. Okay, so yes, it's true that access to internet has been an issue, but if you look at things such as COVID, what we all went through COVID not long ago, and I can guarantee you that even people living in villages got to understand and hear about what was a PCR test. Okay, right. Why? Because they did not need internet for that. There were people around them were talking about it. So unfortunately, yes, in Africa we still depend on the fact that you will hear more from the person next to you rather than having to search on the internet. So now having such expo talking about agriculture, innovation and research provides us with the opportunity to actually have that face-to-face meeting with people, face-to-face meeting with young graduates, young students, to sort of like provide them with that opportunity to see and realize that there's hope. There are partners that you can work with here in Kenya to further research, to further your interest in doing research and all that. So right. Yes, access to internet is an issue. You say it very well. It's work for others to do. Okay, but yes, such expo provides us with that opportunity to be able to access as many people as possible, and of course, being able to make an impact to those will of course ensure that there will be more being impacted by them having to talk about what we're going to talk about starting tomorrow. Yeah.
And Muzoni, I mean, the same, Magfred has been, as you're saying, in existence all your life. So that, I believe, quite a number of years. And you've definitely, I'd assume again, that you've traversed a number of many parts across the country. What's really the issue here? I mean, the same. Is it really access to matters internet? Because at the end of the day, as much as you're going to tell a farmer, so here is a drone, this drone aids you to take a look at, let's say, your 5 acres of maize plantation. And make it easy at the comfort of your home. Ukiwa pale, you're just drinking your tea and mandazis. You can actually take a look at how your farm is. But then, is it matters now internet connectivity? Does this farmer understand even the whole benefit of it?
I think the first challenge the Kenyan farmer has is literacy. The old farmer does not want to engage with the TV, does not want to engage with the phone, prefers just to have a phone to call and get information from the chairman of the circle or the cooperative that they're in. So how we come in as MagFree is that when there are those corporate, the AGMs for the cooperatives, we attend and we print for them the brochures, the flyers that they'll take home. And the person who is at home, who is able to read, is able to inform them. Or the chairman that they have is able to inform them. As my colleague has said about the word of mouth. But that word of mouth will only come down to that person when they are able to read and be able to understand what has been put there. So if it is about like the piping, the water pipes, and maybe irrigation ways and new ways of doing it, the technology, having CCTVs around your farm, and being able to use a drone and be able to use the phone, the WhatsApp, and other platforms to be able to get more information on how to be a better farmer, then that will only be done if we are able to go down to, you know, the grassroots where the farmer is, the old man who does not know how to use a phone, but they are able to read a pamphlet, a brochure about the crop that they have. We've partnered with cooperatives in the past and other universities that are in the innovation interest, and the best way we are able to do it when we have our booth, like we'll have our booth from tomorrow, is that we give them as many flyers as they can, and we are able to partner with them as much as we can, giving them information on how they are able to be able to manage their vast farms or small farms through the platforms, or if we have partners like the NEMA one, where we are able to tell them this is what you're supposed to do, and we put it just very simple writing on the brochures and the pamphlets. That way, and even give them calendars. Sometimes when the farmer is able to see their cow on the calendar for a whole year, they have, you know, they have motivation to know more about it. So when the next time there is ASK show, they will show up. When the next time there is an expo somewhere on agriculture business, they will show up because they have that interest. The other thing is the radio stations and the TV stations, where they will be able to have a segment, dedicated segment on farming. That dedicated segment, I think, would be really help a farmer be able, who does not have maybe a smartphone, but they have a TV, because most homes now have light and they have TV, there's solar TV, there's solar lighting, and so they're able to get that information. That is how the biodigester started, with word of mouth, brochures, training, educating, and it has become now, you know, people are able to even get light from it. So the best way MAGFRI can step into that farmer is to ensure that they have enough information through written paper. That could be brochures or papers, and then they can also get information. We have a farmer in Moranga who uses CCTVs to track how the milking of the cows is being done, because he has a big ranch of cows, and from the comfort of his home in Nairobi, he's able to tell how many liters were done, who stole, who did not steal, and all those nitty-gritties. And you're able to manage and be able to expand your business through that. Right. So that is, when they come in tomorrow, we shall be able to give them information on how they are able to manage and be able to get more information and even improve the produce that they have in their farms.
And in a minute, because we're doing a short break, I mean, you're mentioning someone who has a large-scale farm, but there's a viewer watching us and they're saying, I only have maybe five cows, or probably they're just a small-scale, you know, farmer. And we've been having some of these, you know, headlines that probably a farmer, you know, decrying that maybe their goats, probably like 10 of them, 15 were stolen, and mostly, you know, in some of these rural areas. Does this also help them?
Yeah, if you, like for farmers even who have only 30 chicken, and probably they have CCTV, they are able to tell. Nowadays you have CCTV that you can even hear the voice of the person speaking. So, and it is connected to your mobile phone. Right. So this farmer who is able to install a CCTV means that they must be able also to know how to use a smartphone, or they will be trained on how to use that smartphone, and that will have the integration. Right. Yes.
On that note, given the whole impact of you know, some of this, the whole partnerships, you know, the whole partnerships that each and every one of you is doing now to even to the whole society. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing all this. You can always chime in on this particular conversation as we talk about matters, the whole digital agriculture, the Digital Agriculture Expo coming up tomorrow all the way to Friday. Stick around. break. Now, in case you're just joining us, tomorrow, the 23rd of November and also the 24th of November, which is on Friday, is the inaugural event, the Research, Innovation and Digital Agri Expo 2023. And you're having this particular conversation on how important this particular conversation is even for you. You might be a small-scale farmer, rather you just only have 2 hands. But how does digital and how innovation really work for you? And before the break, we were talking about that whole bit of technology and the fact that we don't really have the connectivity bit of it. And Dr. Ari, let me come to you on this, because as we talk about now academia, you'd really have students have the research paper, do innovations and all this. But do you see the fruition of it, at the end of the day, tap into the society?
Yeah, that's true, Stanley, because, and maybe you can allow me to underscore the role of AI in our society today. And yesterday we were just having a conversation with some of our colleagues about the ChatGPT. And we were trying to see that is it a blessing or is it a curse? And somebody said that technology is here, AI is here, whether we like it or not, and we have to use it. And there are so many studies now that are coming up around that discussion. And I think earlier on you talked about the issues of to do with the internet. And I think from the student point of view, with AI, you are able now to model something. You're able to have a framework for a particular problem that you're developing a solution to. And so from the student and the researcher side, I think we've seen, I think even from tomorrow when we'll be seeing the innovations and the poster presentations, you will see the element in which technology and internet is playing. Because it simplifies the process of looking for resource materials, the modeling part of it. Let's say you're coming up with a prototype and something like that. So with these technologies, it makes your work simpler. Further to that, I think again, technology helps us also to be able to network. And that's why even with our partners, it becomes now easier when you have these people coming in to support us and not just support, but participate in the event, that we'll be able to see something that is of interest to any one of them. And same to also the researchers and the students. They'll be able to see this company is doing this innovation. Like for example, Miriam was talking about the wood-free. So in that case, there are some things that in academia we are not privy to, and the industry has it. And similarly, the industry may not be able to have something that may be asked from the researcher's side and the student side, we have it. So that is why we need to come together, and then we have the community now coming in to appreciate that. So you have academia and you have industry, and synergetically, these people can be able to have a problem that can solve. And so as you've heard most of the partners you talk about, is that they're not only going to engage the researchers and the students, but also the public who are coming to attend the event. You'll have a farmer who may be having a challenge with his farm and needs maybe a particular product or a particular drug or the fumigation thing and something like that. Then they have that conversation. And when I can say that you're really agreeing to this,
yes.
That even as you chime in on the same, why do you think that we do have there's a gap, if you ask me, because 100%. I mean, for example, in Mount Kenya University, in a class of about, let's say, 100 students, they'll all be told to do, hold research, come up with an innovation, but at the end of the day, you don't really see in the society, you don't really see some of this. Do they just die, down and just disappear there in the classrooms there?
They die a slow death. I mean, that's the word you want to use. Reason being, we've always been told that research is expensive, okay? Research is expensive because people don't have access to the actual research, okay? People don't have access to the tools for doing research, okay? So now the lack of knowledge of where to find these tools is what makes the actual research expensive, okay? So if you have a pool of service providers in Kenya that are there, like for example at this Expo, telling the Kenyan researchers, Kenyan scientists that, you can get these products locally. Okay, that's what Change Biotech wants to change actually. Okay, so we want people to understand that we have the tools for people to do research. You do your research, and from there you can provide services. Okay, so when one is doing research, you'll find people in Kenya, a lot of students doing research in vet, for example, trying to figure out why is it that at certain times of the year we have issues with blue tongue disease and everything. Okay, so if the research is done at the university and later on not translated to providing a service to the farmers in Kenya, you see the gap. Okay, so seeing the gap means that the researcher did his research, finished with his research, but did not see how he could have generated money providing the service to the farmer. Okay, the farmer will sit down and think that me trying to get this sort of test done on my cows, on my chicken, on my goats and all that is too expensive. Why? Because and unfortunately, that's what tarnishes the name of what the researcher will want to do. Okay, so what we want to do as Change Biotech is to be able to provide people and students in Kenya with opportunity. Okay, for them to understand and see that the tools for research are available. Okay, they are not expensive. Okay, and they are accurate. Okay, we don't just sit down and talk about things that are frivolous. They are accurate, you do your research, and your research can be translated to you providing a service to farmers in Kenya. And the farmers in Kenya will, of course, benefit from it, okay? To a point where we're talking DNA, we're talking RNA, we're talking the essence of life itself. Okay, yeah.
And Wangari, I want to jump in on the same. I mean, you talked about earlier that you partner with institutions, as well, and you mentioned a very interesting bit, hydroponics. And I'm curious, some of these institutions that you're partnering with, are there, some innovations that probably we should know and even be talking about when it comes to the whole technological advances on the same, to even ensure that you can actually even track something like light, humidity, temperature, and all that when it comes to now, let's say hydroponics, for example?
Actually, we use a lot of technology in tracking temperature, like you said. If you want to know if the nutrients are enough, we have applications that you just use on your phone. You have a look, it tells you your plants need this amount of nutrients, they need this amount of calcium and whatnot. We also monitor the water that needs, because water needs to flow through now and then, now and then, now and then. It's also monitored so that you can know, is the water enough, is it not enough? Also at Modern Tents, we have innovations also. We have, we're one of the only companies, one of a few, that has a rendering. We render you setup. For example, if you have an event and you want to see what it's going to be before the actual date. Okay. So we'll render, we give you a whole setup, tell you these are, we'll place your tents, your chairs and everything. And we present it to you, we change a few things, and then on the day, that is exactly what you'll expect.
With the institutions that you're partnering with, should we be expecting more of other technological advances? How does the future look like? The fact that you're partnering with these institutions, the kind of work they're doing, is it something that we should be looking forward and say, well, there's going to be a lot of technological advances in the future?
Yes. So many. Like the idea behind hydroponics came from, we did an International Water Summit conference, and that is where we tried to figure out what can we do with water. What are the many things that we can do? Because at times it's in plenty, at times there isn't. Like right now it's raining, there's a lot of water. Yeah. So you think, what can we do with it? So we thought hydroponics is a nice idea to sponsor. And so that is, that is something that we did to help people in future to know that it doesn't have to be, if your place is flooded, do something with that water. If your soil percentages are not okay, try something else. So yes, I believe there is a lot to look forward to in the future.
Right. Yes. Let's take on the whole matters of research and innovation, and I'm curious from Nehru Wangari, the relationship between academia and industry. How does that, even for Nehru, how do you really bridge this gap? When, for example, you're partnering with some of these institutions, why do we have the whole, slow death of some of these innovations? Students and some students can really have some amazing, ideas that can really change, but then we don't really see the end goal of some of these innovations.
Yeah, for example, there's a student that innovated flour from grass. So that is what we basically do. We improve lives by creating and researching more innovations that can be produced through our products. And she has talked about floods. We also do water treatment. Water treatment basically helps households that, you know that there are those places that even if it's still raining, they still have shortage of water. So they can collect that rainwater and treat it. That is what we basically, we come in regards to digital agriculture, and innovation. We invent water treatment methods, proper water treatment methods that is safe for household use.
Right.
Yeah.
I just realized I called you Ongare and
Beatrice.
Sorry for that. Udhoni, still on this whole research and innovation, how can you really bridge this gap in your, from where you sit?
There are two ways of looking at it. There's research that has been done by that student and it's not been adopted. And then there's the lecturer who will say that you cannot research on that topic because you'll be plagiarizing. And that topic has already been researched, but it's not been actioned.
Yeah.
So we go back to who was the target market for this research and how aware are they of this research and what input it can do to the Kenyan farmer. So it's a question that goes back to SDG 17 in partnerships, that we must be aware and conscious and active, reactive enough to look at the research that has been done and be able to adopt it and be able to execute it to the farmer. Because if we are getting all this information and we're keeping it to ourselves, it is of no use if somebody else cannot come and say, and do another research and say, this research was done, but it did not achieve the required result. So another counter research has been done by this other student. And that is the only way for us to grow. So from where I sit, I think if we are able to create partnerships from universities to the government agencies, the parastatals, the NGOs that are dealing with farming and other issues that are going to be able to change the life of a Kenyan, then we should be able to be alive to it, that we must partner and be able to use that information we are getting and disseminating it to the user or to the end and the end user.
Right.
The other way of looking at it is that we have like the paper that we have. When we print it, like I can see you have a paper and you have a pen.
Yeah.
That pen has ink. That ink is recyclable today because somebody did a research on it, and so how not to use the ink that was interfering with people's health and bringing so many different kind of illnesses. And today the ink that you use, even if you chewed a piece of paper, it will not be bad for your health. It is a recyclable one, it is safe, and so we have reduced a lot of deaths or illnesses, major illnesses, through the ink that we are using.
Okay.
Be it on print or through the machines, or just handwritten, a pencil, a crayon, a pen, all that.
Right.
So if we are all able as printers to adopt the wood-free paper and the recyclable ink, then we are living on a safer ground for everybody else. Yes.
All right. In a minute, your last one so that you can really wrap it up.
In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, whatever we do today, it really impacts on the future. So we need to be very sober. We need to be very conscious that we are making the right decisions today. We are doing the right things today, so that our future is better.
Asante. Dr. your final comments?
I think maybe I just want to echo what she said. And from the research perspective, we normally say that nobody has the monopoly of knowledge. And that's why we have to work together. And I think this is just the beginning of a journey that we hope that even in the near future, we're going to draw in more partners, more exhibitors, and even probably maybe attract more participants, because I think as an inaugural event, and I forgot to tell you that we have so far received more than 15 exhibitors. So
is it free, by the way? Is it free? I mean, you're largely involving the students here.
Yes.
So it's free.
Yes, it's free. It's free to the student, free to the public.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Ongari, your last words.
Technology is, I believe that we should not be afraid of technology. We should embrace it because it will make our lives easier if we do embrace it. It's not a must to fight it. Not everything new is bad. Technology, I believe, is good. And sponsoring such events does really, really help in inventing and does help individuals and institutions.
All right. Irungu, your final thoughts?
I encourage consumers to take the advantage of our free training sessions so that we can learn more and they can create self-employment through our digital innovations in the detergent making factories. Thank you.
All right. Wane?
What I'm going to say is, as Change Biotech, the name says it all. So what we aim at and what we would really like to be able to do is to have an impact to the young community of researchers in Kenya. We want to be able to make them aware and understand that, you know what, research and access to tools for research is now as affordable as it can be. Okay, so we are here, we are common Kenyans really trying to strive to push the idea behind research and innovation, because that is what we need to be able to do. That's the future of tomorrow. So let's do the right thing now, and then of course the future will be bright.
All right, thank you very much. Fabrice Wane Ngambo Nzinza, Director and CEO of Change Biotech Limited. Asante sana. Also, Beatrice Wambui Irungu, Sales Manager, Anejo, Kenya Limited. Dr. Henry Yetich, Organizing Committee Chair of this particular Expo. Bernadette Wangare, Business Operations Manager, and Miriam Muthoni, Marketing Director at Magfrey Enterprises Limited. Asanteni sana. I've definitely learnt a lot, and hopefully you, viewer, have learnt a lot on the same. Hopefully you'll also hop in onto this particular expo. It's the first ever. So if there are going to be any photos done and everything, you're going to be part of history. The first ever of such kind of an expo happening at the Mount Kenya University. The theme for this particular event is adapting new technologies in agribusiness value chains to confront modern day challenges. And on the screen you have those